Welcome to Main Street, a special edition today. We are dedicating this entire show because somebody on this panel today decided to go out and write himself a book. Brother Mario Bueno. Appreciate congratulations on the book, Reformed Memoir of a Juvenile Killer. Mario Bueno, we want to, first of all, I think the book, I've just started reading it. It's a fabulous book. And so because of this book that you decided to write, we decided to dedicate this entire show to organizations offering tangible solutions for returning citizens. What gave you the inspiration? I mean, we all know, but what gave you the inspiration for the people?
Although the book reflects a memoir, I think it's much more than that. By the grace of God, I was able to sign a hybrid publishing deal. So that was a blessing. That entailed that the publishing company took they bore most of the cost, all of the cost. So it is a memoir, so they wanted to keep with how memoirs are titled, short, to the point, a little hook in there. So obviously the work that we do, and I think the organizations that are here representing returning citizens, to put down the memoir of a juvenile killer. I've had some of our colleagues and our partners that collaborate with us. They've had some things to say about it. But the book is more so, I think, is a self-help book, but also I think it gives insight into the criminal justice system. It gives insight into not only from a personal perspective, but a scholarly one, considering I am a published scholar and on this topic. It gives insight, I think, as a grown man approaching his 40s, reflecting that of what I went through as a 16-year-old boy, locked up for 387 days in solitary as I fought a felony murder armed robbery case. Unfortunately, I thought it was okay to rob and hurt drug dealers.
And I've already read the first couple of chapters, but the number one word that comes to my term is real. Okay, I think it's real because a lot of individuals don't get the inside perspective of what is really going on behind closed bars. What's going on behind the walls of the prison walls? What's happening inside the mind of those individuals behind prison walls? And most importantly, what can we do to start to try to find tangible solutions for those individuals who are coming out so they can easily integrate back into society? And I think I was really excited because you started off with your number, 165821.
Right.
And I think that is very significant because, again, you do lose your identity, but do you gain your identity once you be reintegrated back into society? And I think what Luck Inc. does, and I want to give a shout out, and we got Rick coming on here in a second, they help individuals to gain their identity back, to get their name back. Because from what I've read in your book so far, I don't think they have their name when they're released. They don't have their name.
The book talks about that, and it by the grace of God, the book serendipitously, so it is Rick. Rick is representing Luck Inc. He's a co-founder. He's the current executive director of Luck Inc. And I'm a co-founder of Luck Inc. And Luck Inc.'s made up of a group of men who, as the book will talk about later, deep in the book, it talks about a group of men who were dubbed. We were called the peacemakers in the Jackson prison, where making peace wasn't necessarily the most popular thing to do. And so these group of men pulled me in, one who was at one point of my incarceration. I was kicked out of 9 prisons, served in 16 different adult prisons in 19 years. I was classified as incorrigible. So I was pulled in by these group of men, and I was taught, I was given an identity before I was actually released.
Right.
So actually I was freed before I was free.
And you know, would you argue that many individuals who put individuals in these institutions don't want you to have an identity?
It's a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous thing to, should I say, for so many words, to teach a slave how to read.
Okay. And I think the lack of identity, to put it in economic perspective, the lack of identity for those in prison is profitable. You can make money off individuals not having their own identity, because if you don't know who you are by 9 o'clock in the morning, by 9 o'clock p.m., somebody's going to be telling you who you are.
Absolutely.
And so there's money to be made by making sure that you can let those individuals know that this is where you want to be, because, again, we have a industrialized prison system that makes money off the backs of individuals not knowing who they are.
Well, you know, the book goes into detailed description on how a group of men in a Jackson prison, it's funny, so they were so audacious as to hope, right? So audacious as to come up and recreate a subculture that we said we wanted our own housing unit. And we said that the classes that we taught within the school system, we wanted to implement those expectations. For example, resolving conflict peacefully. So that was an expectation within the housing unit that we, quote unquote slaves, we prisoners ran. And so what we did was these group of peacemakers recreated their own system, their own culture, and we rebranded ourselves. We found our own identity. We put an identity on ourselves that we are children of God.
Awesome, awesome.
Now, you know, the prison system is quite, you know, fascinating to me because I see it from a different perspective. I see it from a housing perspective where you have, what, $82 billion a year being made off of the prison system of people going in. And I think some of those numbers is something that, and I'm sure you would agree, it's like it's a huge housing project.
Absolutely.
And so you have people actually making money off of people being incarcerated, and then the incarcerated people come out and can't make a living.
Absolutely.
And that is, I mean, it's quite detrimental to me that that's what we do. So I'm excited about Lucky. I'm excited about your book, Reformed. I must admit, I didn't get the number at first, but I was like, wait a minute, that what it is? Okay.
You got to come to prisons with us sometime, man.
Yeah, I definitely do. I mean, I look forward to that. But you know, I just thought this was awesome, and you have a chapter in here dedicated to education. Absolutely. And you know, and can you tell us? I mean, you are amazing at all the accolades you have. I mean, you're like a scholar. So why don't you give us a rundown of what you got?
Actually, I am a scholar.
Let's have your co-founder Luck Inc. join us.
Absolutely. Yeah, come on, Rick. Come on. Happy birthday too.
Happy birthday.
Rick's birthday today. Welcome to the show, brother. Again, we are running a special show today. No commercials. Do we have the shot in here? Perfect. Thank you so much. No commercials today because we want to dedicate this entire time to those organizations doing the most tangible work. And as far as I'm concerned, I met Luck Inc., met Mario first, and then I ran into you. Luck Inc., Rick, I got to brag on you for a second here. You are some of the most tangible organizations that I've seen actually helping individuals get back involved, getting them jobs, getting them mentorship, helping them brand themselves, helping them, as the book Reformed by Mario says, find their identity. So, Rick, what gave you a lot of the motivation in order to get this organization going with Mario?
Well, as Mario spoke on the work we were doing inside and the difference it made in our lives in there, which also related to our families and how we were communicating, how we were getting that process going of coming home and reintegrating. We had tools to ask the right questions, you know, when they asked what we needed. So when we came home, what we realized was there wasn't enough being done out here. So the organization we were doing this work with, and that was great because that's where they worked. They were specific to inside. And we knew what we went through coming home. During the first couple months, some of the struggles. And I knew some of Mario's struggles before I came home because he came home several months before me. So I could call him and talk to him and you know, we shared these things. And if it was such a struggle to us, having each other, having tools, having resources, what about the men and the women coming home that didn't have that?
So I have to delve into your minds a little bit here because it is it's an easier road to life to be a victim than it is for someone to actually take control and take accountability for his or her own life. What was the trigger inside of you all's minds that said that I am not going to allow myself to be a victim? I'm going to not only take control of my life and get myself together, but I'm going to help other people too, because I think that is a level of secret sauce that we got to figure out what the heck y'all were doing, man.
Well, I can say probably the greatest motivation for me was I'm a father. So I have two daughters that I left that were 2 and 6, and I served 15 years of incarceration. So during that time, what did I always want to be? I wanted to be better. I wanted to do better, right? And now I had the tools to do it. Now I had resources, and I had inspirations around me and people wanting to mentor me and coach me. And so I understood this is important. I need mentors. I need coaches. Well, so do other people coming home. And so, you know, it's funny because the symbol is to bridge that gap. That's what we're here for. We're here to reform the incorrigible because we all were incorrigible, right? Our whole team, our staff of 10, you know, served anywhere from
over 250 years of incarceration.
250
Say that again. So
over 250 years of incarceration, our staff. Anywhere from 11 years. Is that Zeke? Zeke's the fish. He's got 11 years.
No, Cam's the fish.
No,
He's
Cam's got
4.
5. 4 or 5. Yeah. He was a young 18-year-old. Anywhere from that to 30 years of incarceration.
Awesome. And so, again, so what are some of the specific services? Let's drill down into what Luck Inc. actually does every single day, because I've seen it. I've seen the contracts you all are helping people get. I've seen the jobs that you all are helping individuals to create. I've seen the results, but the people out there need to know exactly what does Luck Inc. do, what they're all about, because if they don't want to donate to support, they definitely need to get involved. And they should do both.
Absolutely. What we do in transforming and reforming these men coming home, right, is we help them with the day-to-day pro-social skills. So you take an individual that served 10, 15, 20 years, 25, 30. Imagine coming home to today from what it was like back then. Because let me tell you a little secret. Prison's like a time capsule. Not a whole lot changes. Style, we're way behind in everything, right? Technology, all these things. So what happens to a man or a woman that comes home after serving all this time with a smartphone, resumes, emails? Who's going to help them?
Well, I'll give you an example. One of our clients, today's Tuesday, right? So tomorrow I'm going to see Mr. Foster. He just served 43 years from the age of 17.
That's before pagers and voicemail,
Right.
all of that.
So we're meeting to get tomorrow.
Computers, all of that.
Right. So guess what we're meeting for? He's enrolling in W3C for HVAC certification. He's in shape. The guy looks like he's like 19, really. But we were talking, Rick and I. It was funny. We were on the phone yesterday, and we were talking about what's the difference maker. You know, we're running into clients who, we meet them on whatever level they are, and then we map out a vision for them, and we basically you're almost doing an individual learning plan, right? Educational plan, like in public school, and we take them where they need to be. But we're running into returning citizens formerly incarcerated who, in for layman's terms, we call them dinosaurs. Right? So they're serving 40 years, and some of our clients tell them, Rick, what they're going through right now.
Well, what we have, and what a travesty it is many of these men are suicidal, right? They're having a hard time dealing and coping with everyday little things because everything was done for you there. Meals were served. You just went. You showed up.
That has to be scary.
Okay?
That has
you
to
don't
be
have
really
to
scary.
plan grocery shopping.
It was a village, and it was like a village.
Right.
Who you communicate with, it was in text. You
Right.
yell down the hall.
So, but we have and they have these feelings that there's something wrong with them, that they're not normal, right?
Okay.
But I felt the same way, and I can only say that I only served 15 years, which still is a great deal, but when I look at how much time these men are serving, it's hard for me to grasp, right? So how is it for them? That's the lens I'm looking at it through. And when you have men that, because they're free, as Mario said, he got freed, mentally before he came, same with me. Well, what happens when you don't? What are they coming home to?
Right.
What are the housing services,
Right.
That's the fear.
That's
Yeah,
the
how
fear.
I'm gonna live, how I'm gonna get a job.
One of our missions is to provide housing for 100 men, and not just housing. It's not about just a roof and some water, right? It's about creating an environment in which they can become
A home.
a home.
You're giving them a home.
Think
Well,
about what you experience every morning when you wake up, that I'm home, I'm safe,
Well, one of our clients, he did 42 years from the age of 17, and he came home, and a week later he reported to law and parole office and told them that he wanted to go back,
I can understand.
that he couldn't cope. And so what there's a reason why Moses had to travel those 40 years in that terrain, because you cannot lead someone from some place that you yourself haven't traveled, right? So one of our missions for 2018, we've been gifted a 2-unit, 2,800 square feet. A survivor in my case, my deceased Samuel, his girlfriend at the time, who testified against me twice. She's one of our friends. She's a sister of ours. She's actually was certified in restorative practices with the entire Luck team. But we did a walkthrough. She does rehab, so we did a walkthrough with her team, and we came up with the estimates around $35,000 to $40,000 to rehab, comparative value of about $70,000 in that area. We want to make a boarding house for it's going to house 30 long indeterminate lifers that have been released in 2018 that lack not only resources, but lack the familial relationships. Even those who, I'll give an example. I did 19 years from the age of 16. Even though I had family to come home to, it doesn't necessarily mean that would have been the best choice had we a stabilization program that would offer almost capitulation, a stage of reintegration, a space for guys who've served long and determined sentences in an institution to decompress. To decompress with those who've walked that terrain.
Level of familiarity.
Right.
And so how do people get a hold of Luck Inc.? What are because people out there's someone out there right now that wants to grab some pen and paper and figure out how do they call Luck Inc. Mario's a co-host of the show. He's going to be back. But I want to know today, because people need to call Luck Inc. People need to donate to Luck Inc.
It's a 501c3.
People
so
need to contribute.
It is a tax write-off.
It's getting close to December. You got year end. You want to decrease your revenue or increase your expenses to give.
Yeah, don't pay Trump.
Exactly.
Don't pay Trump.
Put money into something that's. How do people get a hold and contact Luck Inc.? What's their information?
Well, our website is luckinksolutions.org.
Okay. luckinksolutions.org.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. And I'll give out my personal cell phone number, 586-388-0054.
Which he is a professional painter, and he employs our clients.
Okay. And what's the number one more time? Because somebody out there wanted to write the website down, and they wanted to write the telephone number down, but it went by so fast. So now they've gotten. I'm talking long enough to give them a chance to get their pencil and their pen. Right. So now they're going to pick it up. And what's the website and the telephone number again?
luckinksolutions.org.
You whispered that. Luck Inc. Solutions with a S.org.
And we can't let you get out.
What's your phone number? Your phone number. Professional.
586-388-0054.
One more time.
586-388-0054.
And now we can't let you get out of here, Rick, because you served 15 years, and you were representing a DEA agent. And today's your birthday, so in honor of that, we got you a special gift today. A special gift that says FBI on it. FBI. The gift says FBI because, just to remind you that, yes, you did. Where you came from, brother.
You got a promotion.
Happy birthday.
Thankyou.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And now I know you got to run because today is your birthday, and you're going to go with your wife, so she's the boss of the house, so we got to make sure.
Yes, absolutely.
My brother, we appreciate your time. We love you, man.
Love you.
And next, because we have no commercials today, coming up right now is Brother Troy Rienstra of Safe and Just Michigan. Again, today was all about tangible solutions. Again, we want to remind everybody it's January 22nd, right? We're going to be able to buy a reformed Memoir of a Juvenile Killer. It's right here.
You can pre-order right now in Seattle Book Company. There will be a pre-order, and it will be incentivized. I'm leaning to push the publishing company to allow all those who pre-order on Seattle Book Company to receive an autographed copy before the end of the year. So anywhere the week of Christmas time before New Year's, I'm pushing for that, and I'll be able to announce that. But more than likely, if you pre-order, you will get an autographed copy before the end of the year. So,
so now, Brother Troy, thank you for coming out to the show.
Pleasure being here. Thank you.
Now, you again, because you are formerly known as CAP, Citizens Alliance on Prisons and Public Spending.
Yes.
Now you all are Safe and Just Michigan. You help individuals get advanced evidence-based policies. And you all are behind the scenes actually helping to create a lot of the policy. So when people don't talk about criminal justice reform, you all are literally on the front line of criminal justice reform, trying to make sure that all those things that cause individuals to have disproportionate levels of incarceration are being addressed adequately. Right now, today, Jeff Sessions is testifying. He might be dumb, but he's testifying. But that's the type of people that you need to speak with, that you're actually saying. We want to make sure that individuals, that this disparity of incarceration rates, it gets addressed. So, Troy, how do you all do it? And tell everybody what Safe and Just Michigan really is all about, because you're doing some phenomenal work, I got to tell you.
Well, thank you for that. You couldn't have put it. I couldn't have put it any better. So, and I would love to have a conversation with Jeff Sessions if I could get.
Hey, Jeff Sessions, if you're listening out there, this is the guy you need to talk to, because he's got some of the answers here.
So, formerly known as CAPS, we have a 20-year history in policy work in the state of Michigan. What we do is we look at different policies that have worked throughout the country, even throughout the world, how we can make Michigan's prison system better. Now, is it possible to create a better prison system? Yes. when you talk about rehabilitation, when you talk about adequate length of terms, then you have rehabilitative services that give the person the opportunity to return to the community as a functional good citizen. That would be the goal. So we're a nonprofit, we are bipartisan, and our focus is policies. Our motto is smarter policies make safer communities. So what I do with CAPS, I'm an outreach director. My job is to engage the community organizations, community leaders, and particularly the faith group, because we believe that the faith community has the numbers, has the mandate, and has the ability to move policy in this state. 98% of the legislature have a faith base. However, in the state of Michigan, we serve on average 120% of a prison term. So how that compares across the country is you serve more time in Michigan for a prison sentence than you do anywhere else in the country. So we're pretty tough on crime. Forgiveness and restorative justice is what our foundation is. We believe that people can change. We believe that when they do change, they should be given the opportunity to be reintegrated back in the community and make a contribution.
So you're for a rehabilitation system, not just a penal system?
Absolutely. When you have a punitive system, no one gets better.
Right.
I had the opportunity to study a book called No Future Without Forgiveness by Desmond Tutu. And we have not only an unforgiving state when it comes to the criminal justice system, but as a country, we're pretty unforgiving. And what do we expect our future to look like? One of the things that motivated me to get into this work was I read a report that talked about how at one point 1 out of every 12 African American boys would spend time in prison. And then that number changed to 1 out of every 8. And now we're at 1 out of 3. And so that's what unforgiveness will get you. As opposed to saying, how can we see everyone as equal, created in the likeness and image of God. Now, CAPS is a secular organization, however, I have a strong faith foundation. And if we can't work together as a community and treat people humanely and see that everyone has human potential, then we're in trouble. And I think that's evidenced by our political landscape today.
Now, you know, I've been kind of listening to what some of the issues that we're having, especially in Detroit and in the state, where as we go on, we're getting younger people who are doing more heinous crimes and things of that nature. People are saying that, you know, for some of these crimes, we need to bring in the death penalty. How do you feel about that from, I'm sure. But, I mean,
statistically speaking, actually, statistically speaking, younger people are committing less heinous crimes. It's just, unfortunately, the media, it shows it more.
Well,
that's actually truth. I do research in this, but for real, because I have a vested interest. And in '95, when I was dubbed a predator by Clinton, that was the year that I got incarcerated, and I committed my crime. And unfortunately, my mindset was that of predatory in nature. But when it's a first-time offense, and when you're talking about a system in Michigan like Kim Worthy right now, deeming 70 of the 100 juvenile lifers coming out of Wayne County should never be resentenced, should never come home. It's right now today in America, especially in Detroit, less young people are doing violent crimes than they were in the 90s, and we don't actually know that stat.
But,
so go ahead, speak on that, please.
Yeah, but also with that, what as far as the penal system, as far as the pushing of the death penalty, how do you feel about that?
Well, let me make this point. In Michigan, we have over 5,000 people who are serving a life term in prison.
But to make it fair, are you only focused on Michigan, because that's not the death penalty, or is that an issue for you guys in Michigan?
We're Michigan-based.
Okay.
Fortunately, we don't have to challenge the death penalty. There's not really a push for the death penalty in Michigan. However, we have over 5,000 people who are serving life terms in prison in Michigan who will die in prison. We call that the other death penalty in Michigan.
Okay.
I was a lifer who was serving a life term in prison.
You served 22 years.
I served
26, right? 22?
22 years, yes.
And is it unheard of? Is it unheard of for a true lifer such as yourself to ever get out in Michigan? Is it unheard of?
It's not unheard of. We have a governor who has.
Well, let's speak of in the past, before 7 years ago, before 8 years, before Granholm.
Before Granholm, there was a policy that they called life means life.
Even for second-degree murder.
Even for second degree.
Correct.
It was a policy.
So this is something new within the past 8 to 10 years, that they're letting lifers actually go home.
there has been a move where they've been given lifers the opportunity to be released from prison. Part of it was in relation to the 650 drug law. If you were in prison, I know a number of people who are still serving a natural life in prison for drugs. There was no death, there was no violence directly related to their offense, and they will die in prison.
And I got to say this here because I've marched for Tamir Rice, Laquan McDonald, Mike Brown, Freddie Gray. I've marched from Cleveland and Eric Gardner. I've marched for them. We've marched. Listen, people, listen. When we march, we want to see change. We want to see action. This group is the one that helps to craft what the action will look like.
Policies.
So if we're going to march, we cannot not support a group like Safe and Just Michigan. If we're going to march, we must pull together and have Safe and Just Michigan, who's on the front lines, to figure out what we're marching for. So I want folks to really understand, as they grab their pen and their paper right now, who they're about to donate to, because you are, again, there's no point in marching unless we contribute to your organization to make sure we can craft the policy to make the march a success. So all this, and I'm giving people time to get their pens and paper up because I want you to give information. Our level of activism has been reduced to Facebook activism. We put this sexy meme and this sexy IG up or Instagram post up, and people like it, and that's the level of extent that we go through. And we say, yeah, I just retweeted somebody. I just shared a post on Facebook. But you're on the front lines, brother, every single day. I want to say I love you, I support you. What's the number so people can donate? Because we need your work to make our activism a success. What's your telephone number? People can call you.
So I'll be glad to give out my direct line. My direct line is 616-448-8605. 616-448-8605. You can call me anytime. I work 24 hours a day. You can ask my wife. She's been putting up with my stuff ever since I've been home. But our website is also www.capps-mi.org. And you can look at a little bit about the work that we have, the policies that we're working on now. And so I would love for them to give me a call. What I do is I go into the community. So I've been to Flint, I've been to Kalamazoo, been to Detroit, been to Grand Rapids. We put on 1,000 miles in a partnership with Michigan Faith in Action in the last 30 days. If you call me, I will come. I have an educational presentation that I give on the criminal justice system, statistics. Not only do we talk about the statistics, but then we go into how can we go into action.
Well, brother, I'll tell you, Troy, I want to thank you for coming out. I hope people call one more time on your phone number because I know somebody missed it. And then because you dropped some dimes, you said you come out and do presentations. So because somebody out there wants to hear your presentation, they want to call you to Saginaw or to Pontiac to get this presentation. What's that number one more time?
We're in a very sensitive season legislatively. My number is 616-448-8605. If you've been incarcerated, you can vote. If you have a loved one who's incarcerated, please contact me and we'll help you. We'd love to work with you. We need the numbers this season.
All right, my brother Troy, thank you so much.
Thanks, Troy.
Thank you very
Again,
much.
we want to remind everybody that you can get your copy today, Reformed, Memoir of a Juvenile Killer. I'm going to tell you right now, see, we can't talk about him anymore. He's a published author now.
We
can't make fun of him
I'm going to tear him up.
He's a published author
He
now.
don't get no breaks.
Is he going to hang out with us? He going to keep hanging out with us?
Yeah,
Is he done hanging out?
He'll keep hanging with us. We'll
think
let
so?
him hang out
Not
with
if
us.
we keep going to those restaurants, it'll take forever.
You ain't lying.
I was passed out last time.
And so up
He's
next,
Mr. Pac-Man.
Up next, we have Detroit School for Digital Technology, Brother Torian Thomas,
Torian.
Director of Community Outreach. Hey,
Come
brother.
on.
How you doing, Tori?
Have a seat, brother. Uh-oh.
Don't knock down the book.
That display, that was
Hope you got
breaking your
insurance.
bite. You breaking your bite.
So now, Brother Torian Thomas, we've had the Detroit School for Digital Technology on before talking about veterans.
Yes.
But you all also have, I think there's a lot of similarity between what the veterans are going through and returning citizens are going through.
Absolutely.
Talk about what DSDT is doing for those who are returning citizens to make sure they can get reintegrated into society and get themselves a JOB.
Right. So, I mean, one thing that's really important about what we're doing at DSDT is we don't It's like Mario said, it's hard to reacclimate coming back from being locked up that long, and technology is consistently changing. You're talking about dropping my phone. I just learned how to work this phone. I haven't been to jail, so I mean, like, so imagine somebody being locked up, being incarcerated, and coming back and seeing all this new stuff going on around them. We've got a few returning citizens at our school that we work with very close, and that we've also been able to employ and hire ourselves at the school. There's one in particular that comes to mind when I think about this situation. Who was locked up for quite some time, and when he was locked up, there were no cell phones or any of that. And it's amazing to see this man be in our program and be there for 6 weeks, and then to go into a classroom and see him sitting behind a Mac computer, going on Facebook and doing working with the program. So I mean, it's just like, it's amazing to see the commitment that they put in when they come in, and they're like serious about what they're trying to do. They really want to change their lives. And another thing that I think Jamie did well when she developed the program was try to get people really in a space where they can get gainful employment. Like, they don't actually, it's not just the opportunity for you to learn a skill. Now you're stuck out there on the side and you don't know where you're going to go next. And that's one of the huge problems that we have with a lot of organizations, and what they're doing is giving you a skill that doesn't really transfer into any type of work once you get out of your institution. And at DSCT, what we do is we try to place our students in a situation where they're going to be able to be employed at the end of that class. So,
And so, I mean, I just have to commend you all on the work you're doing. What made you personally get into this line of work? Because as Director of Community Outreach, I'd imagine that you have a lot of extensive relationships with the community. So why do you care so much about getting into, because this is what the Main Street is all about, right? We want about getting jobs, create jobs, and manage money from the jobs. I forgot to shout out to Fifth Third Bank for sponsoring this endeavor. What made you really get involved in all of this effort?
Well, I was incarcerated from 10 years old to 15 years old for a crime that my mother was involved in. But I mean, actually, it wasn't even a crime. It was something that they were trying to convict her of. But I did the time for it.
Really?
Yeah. So after I was released,
now, that's a story in and of itself.
Yeah.
Now, what can you go into that at all? Or
I mean,
what happened,
yeah,
man?
I can go into- so,
what the heck
How did you do the time?
Well, my mother was
else?
a foster parent, and she had a foster kid, and we weren't able to get a Medicaid card for the foster kid for her to keep taking him to the doctor, and he had medical issues where he would have seizures all the time.
Okay.
So my mother would pay cash for him to go to the doctor because she didn't know what was going on. She didn't know anything about anything like that. So one time he had a seizure, and he did not recover from the seizure, and he passed away.
Okay.
So at that point, what they tried to say was either my mom hit him, and he had a seizure and went to a coma, or I did it out of jealousy for being the only child who had a young
How did we get to that?
Right,
Wow.
exactly.
That's a
I mean,
stretch.
was there bruises on him? Or
No,
did he fall and
no.
have a bruise, and that way they?
No, none of that at all. And the crazy thing about it was, like, I was so excited to have a younger brother because I was the only child, I didn't have anybody to play with, so I was so excited to have a younger brother. But long story short, they ended up coming to my school. I went to St. Leo at the time. They ended up coming pick me up at school and told me they just want to take me downtown and ask me some questions. 5 years later, I was coming out of a detention facility. Yeah.
So they didn't even let you come home to talk to anybody.
They actually told my mother that they told me that my mother didn't want anything else to do with me, and that she was turning me over to the system, which was untrue. And I didn't see my mother. I think maybe 2 years until after that, 2 or 3 years.
You
after
have
that,
a story in and of yourself. When's your book coming out?
Absolutely. Yeah, but but the point being is, all of this stuff happens, but then it's like, then what? Do you sit back and do you harp on everything that happened to you, or do you take the necessary steps? I've been blessed to have people in my life to push me forward.
Right.
So people like Mario, people like Jamie, people like Alex Montaner, people have been in the same places that I've been and been able to show me a way out and expose me to other things too. So that was something that really got me excited. And one thing that got me really interested in helping people was film. And it was the point of telling people stories.
So with you being out 5 years, did you feel that kind of a lapse too of when you came out, you was a little bit behind, probably not as much, but did you, because I can only imagine if I was somewhere from 40.
Yeah, it was from 10
did you
to
do 10
15?
15?
No, I was from 10 years old to 15 years old.
So how many, so that was 5 years you did, right?
Yeah.
So in that 5 year gap, did you feel any difference? I mean, probably not a lot.
Not a lot. Like I said, I was blessed to be in situations where people really looked out for me.
Okay.
And I've been in some really crazy crazy detention facilities, but I've actually been blessed to where some of the guys I was bunked with, like, they really looked out for me because they knew I wasn't supposed to be there. So,
Right.
you know, so they really, like, took to me like that.
And I've heard some stories. I know some individuals who are special agents. They tell me some stories of what happens in those juvenile
Oh,
facilities.
man, yeah.
It's nothing
yeah.
nice, man.
No. I done had
I
a
mean,
couple
they almost
brawls,
train
yeah.
you to be a killer by the time you get out of there.
I mean-
some of them.
Like you say, it's cash advice. The system is built. It's like a revolving door. They want you to come back. That's how they make money. So
how they
if you
make it,
don't-
yep.
That's like going into a casino.
housing.
Don't go in a casino and think you're gonna win. It's a business. They're trying to make money. So don't go into the penal system and think like, oh, this is just the whole purpose is to get you caught. So
It's in the cycle.
I mean, so I was blessed to have, like I said, have people in my life to break me out of that cycle. And I want to continue to do that and give that back. And I've been involved in the community and everything like that ever since.
And so people can get involved in Detroit School for Digital Technology, correct?
Absolutely.
How, what do they do, and what number do they call? What's their telephone number? What's their website? How
So
do they get hold
our
of it?
website is dsdt.tech. We can also
That's easy.
Yeah, that's real easy.
DSTD.tech. You can almost make a sound out of that one.
Yeah.
DSTD.tech.
Such a short time. I mean,
It's the microphone.
yeah. So, I mean, you can hit us up on DSTT.tech. We're on Facebook, DSTT. Also, I'll give out my number, 248-238-4671.
One more time, because I went too fast for
Okay,
that. For
look.
Sister Martha. Sister Martha's out there, and she's running to get her telephone, her
Okay.
pen.
Well,
So
Sister
hold
Martha, let me give it to
hold
you.
on, Sister Martha.
Hold on.
Well, 'cause he's okay now. Oh, you ready, Sister Martha? Okay, there you go.
Okay, here we go. 248-238-4671. Also, we can be reached at dsdt.tech, and my personal email is Taurian, TAUREAN, at dsdt.tech.
Brother Tor, we want to thank you for coming on
Thank you
here.
for having me.
Awesome
Thank you for
job.
the work
Awesome
you're doing.
job.
Absolutely,
Awesome
pleasure.
job you're doing.
Pleasure.
We're going to
Mario.
go to dsTD.tech. Hey, dsTD.
Let's change this
Hey.
microphone now.
That's a catchy slogan right there.
Yeah,
I like that.
It is.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
And we want to remind folks, as Sister Crystal Banks comes on and says, who's the author of "Don't Be a Criminal," and for the young authors, for the
I'm just
for
not
the
as
adult
pretty- I'm not as
crowd,
pretty
is
as
"Don't Be
this
a
author.
Dumb A Criminal." My mother's watching, so I couldn't say the whole title.
Ooh, you in trouble.
Yeah, I couldn't say it. But I'm telling you, but while we want to remind folks, you got to go pick up your advanced copy or order your copy. Reform, Memory of a Juvenile Killer, numbers 165821. Brother Mario Bueno is a published author. Too bad.
And you know what? Also, I want to say that, you guys, we bringing all these people on board. They need your help
Yes.
financially,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
To keep a lot of these things, especially with what's really touching on my heart right now is the policy piece. Because, like Ryan said, if we can march and do phone calls and text all day, but if we don't have policy in place to push when we get ready to do it, it's not going to happen. So we need your monies. So whether you're going to give $5 or $5,000 or $500,000, whatever you're going to give, we need you to give it to and help everybody out here. If you don't have all the numbers, stick around and get it. But if you don't, call a television station. Say, hey, can we get the number? Can we call us? Have somebody call you so we can donate to these programs.
It's not just enough to get mad on Facebook, people. We've got to actually contribute to these organizations to make sure we can
'Cause
help
people
a
are-
sustainable economic movement
Absolutely.
that they're doing.
Because we don't care if you mad if
Lucky
you ain't got no
doing some good
money.
work. Crystal Banks doing some good work.
Come on, Crystal. Woo, chicken the gang.
My
We got
goodness.
to get
So
Crystal,
you
we gotta get Crystal in the. There we go.
There we go.
okay?
Yeah.
So now you have
Talking to the mic.
you are an author as well as a business owner all around. I mean, you are doing it to it. I'll tell you, it's the year of the woman. It's the decade of the woman. They taking over, brothers. Y'all better
I think,
step up your
it's the
game.
decade of the brothers actually just realizing that it's the era.
Yeah, that's
You're right,
we've
you're right.
always
Yeah,
been
yeah,
in
yeah.
control.
That's honestly,
It's a realization piece. It's a realization piece.
Well, we got to step up regardless.
There we go.
Because she's doing it to it. So, Crystal, you have talk about "Don't Be a Dumb Criminal." 'Cause that's your youth book, and then "Don't Be a Dumb A Criminal," and then I also want you to talk about your bail bonds business that you own and you've created. So now you are a CEO and an author and just all around superstar in every single component of the word. And we got the books up here. We got the youth book, the adult book. You've got the whole age taken care of. Talk a little bit about you've made a movement of your mission. Talk about this here.
I'm trying. Well, I wrote "Don't Be a Dumb A Criminal," And I was just trying to help the people that I got out. I seen these people and they have no idea how the system works. Their families don't. A lot of these people have never even been in trouble. And so they don't know what kind of lawyer to hire. They don't know what kind of lawyer they even need or where to turn. They don't know if a court appointed is sufficient. They don't know anything about the system. They can't even believe that they messed up and spoke to the police because they were just talking and they did not know that was a statement. So I was like, okay, we have to let them know that they're hurting themselves. They're basically snitching on themselves from the beginning. And I tell them, when you deal with the police, it's very simple. When you call them, they're generally on your side.
And this is your wheelhouse, though, as the owner of Banks Bail Bonds. This is what you do.
Yes.
You know all this. See, this is what I'm so tired of people trying to write books of things that they're not experts in. But I'm so proud that you actually took a book and your level of expertise. What's your background? Where did you go to school? What's your career? Well, I mean, how did you get into Banks Bail? How did you become a Bank Bail Bonds woman and own your own business?
Well, I went to St. Clair Community College,
Okay.
and then I went.
That's a good
I got
school.
into bail. It's an insurance license, so I went into insurance.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, I started working for a company, and I thought, how do I do what those agents do? I want to make that type of money. And when I asked, they wouldn't tell me. So I went to their competition, and he hired me. He trained me after years. He said, will you buy my company? I said, absolutely. And then I opened up my own, and because I own 3 different companies. So it's like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? And although I love bail, I love helping people, I thought, it's got to be a better way because the only people I get to help are the ones that I bond out. So I'm like, what can I do to help these people? So the first thing I did is I created an app. It's a free app. I want everybody to download it. They can go on Google or Apple, their stores, and it's called Banks Bail Bonds. You push a button. It tells us you're being arrested. Somebody's going to call you. And you have connections to lawyers. You have expungement connections. You have credit repair.
And what's the name of this app?
Banks Bail Bonds.
So somebody out there is going to be up because I know I'm going to upload this app.
I know I got some friends that need that app.
Yeah, so I want you because that seems like a very tangible response. See, this is what I'm talking about. See, what?
Yeah,
we
have a lot
You'll make me walk
of
up out of here.
connections.
This is what I was talking about.
The connections, and I try to put everything together because I'm dealing with everybody. And they're always asking me, hey, you know anybody hiring a felon? Oh, yeah, this program. Oh, wait a minute. This new cosmetology school will train you. Let's get you a skill. I found that so many people were pushing education, and there's nothing wrong with it. But for a lot of people, college is not meant for everyone.
Right.
So you can't look down on the truck driver, garbage man. And I tell people all the time, I said, look, I know engineers that make good money, but I know a garbage man that makes the same amount.
Right.
And he doesn't have a degree. I was like, you cannot look down on people. If at the end of the day, if your heat goes out in your house, you don't care what their person, he have tattoos everywhere. You don't care what his background is. Come fix my heat.
Yeah, like we were just talking about the one who did 43 years. A lot of them going to skilled trades, which I want to just clarify, and I think in harmony with what Ms. Banks is saying, that I think that is a misnomer. I think that when we think of education, I think we unfortunately do think of just a structured post-secondary college environment. But no, absolutely skilled trades. Whether it's HVAC, plumbing, electrical, we have a impoverished a pool of minority licensed plumbers, licensed electricians. You're talking about you become a licensed electrician, you're making anywhere between $200 and $300 an hour right now.
And then
an hour.
They're not even doing as many apprenticeship programs, and they should be, because I met some people that they've been working with their uncle for 15
Long
years
time.
now. All of a sudden they're an expert, and I'm like, look, do I really care if you have that license when I'm cold? Maybe not.
Right.
And that's what Craigslist and all that stuff is about. But everybody, different situations, referrals. And to come back to the book, okay,
Yeah.
I talk about how you do this. And yeah, that's
And
the
we got
app.
your app.
Oh,
on
we
here
got
now.
the app.
Call
I'm
now,
a app-
client check in.
Panic button.
Yes, well, the panic
We need
button.
more. We need
What
more
is the
tangible-
panic button?
See, I
panic
like-
button is when you push that.
Let me see, can y'all
That means
see
you got
this?
red lights
You-
No, they
behind
can't
you.
see
No.
it.
Oh, you can't see
Okay,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
You have red lights pulling you over. You panic.
And, well, initially she downloaded, so she's gonna push it. She's gonna put her full name in, her phone number, and up to 3 contacts. So when she's driving and she gets pulled over, she pushes that button. It's gonna alert me and my agents that she's going to jail. And we're gonna call her family and say, "Hey,
Perfect. I love
she's
it.
being arrested.
Love it.
This is what's going on. This is where she is. It
Wow.
works all over the
Shut up.
country.
What's the
Thanks,
app
Mel
called?
Bond.
I love this.
Why have we not heard of this?
Look at that.
I don't know.
Well, she
'cause
just
it's everywhere.
well,
Okay,
we gotta
okay,
get you
Banks
on.
Bail-
She's only 25.
Banks Bail
man.
Bond,
Come
this
on,
is a
every-
test. Test
This is
is
just coming out here.
Oh my
So in relation to
This
the
is
book,
awesome.
you know what I love about this book? Now this is the juvenile book. As you can see, there's juveniles in the
The
front.
workbook.
This is the juvenile workbook. What I loved about it was
I
on
need
page
about
5.
12 of them.
Well, on page 5,
And you're in
it
schools and stuff,
so
right?
so on page 5 it
trying
talked
to
about describe what you really think jail is like.
This is awesome.
Look at this.
What do you usually get for the answers?
Oh my God. They think that jail looks exactly like the front cover. Oh, it's nice and it's clean. You got some janitor picking up after you like your mama did at home. And, you know, you got video games. You have your own rec time. You can watch. You can call anybody you want to when you
Pizza
feel like
time. There's
it.
pizza time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let me tell you something.
You've made a
This
movement. I'm
is
so
what
amazed.
I
jail
love it.
looks like.
Yeah.
It's nasty. You may
Yeah.
not live or room with somebody whose mom taught them how to clean. They might be nasty, and you
Or whose mom
living in
taught
it.
them that no means no.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
these kids and people have no idea what it's really like.
it's a family show. It's a family show. It's a family show. It's a family show.
When you go to jail, you got to buck up.
I had to help
You
them
gotta
out.
buff up.
So they have no concept of how jail works, how collect
Right.
homes work, how money works. That's why in the workbook I teach them how money works, how to invest your money, how credit works, how easy it is. Like a lot of people will tell you, "Oh man, my mama messed up my credit." Okay, and they told me I had to prosecute her. You're not gonna put your mom in jail. You don't need to prosecute her. And I tell you in the book, go to the credit bureau, tell them you are a minor. This is your birth certificate. Take this off my credit, and it better be off in 30 days.
All right now.
And we tell you how to deal with these situations. Just like with young people, we tell them they're snitching on themselves every day. Facebook, Instagram. Wait a minute.
I'm gonna
It's
take
the era
it.
of
I'm
stupidity.
gonna,
This is the era of
I'm gonna
stupidity.
televise my
I grew up
crime.
and me and my friends were hanging out, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go this way. Y'all do what y'all have to do. And they're like, Chris, you really never hung with us. I was like, I don't need nobody telling on me.
right.
But these kids, they first thing they do is selfie. Now,
And
if
so-
that
so-
place
wait, hold on
got
one second,
robbed and that person looks like you already done told on yourself. It might not have been you, but you get
Wow.
charged, and you're gonna have to deal with that situation just like you got
And so
charged.
can we
Wow.
buy this book on Amazon.com?
You can get that book directly from us right
Oh,
now. 'cause
give
I'm
it
trying to
information.
get
Give
it
that
to-
information. Give it out there.
In about a week, you will be able to go to Amazon
Well,
and get it.
how do we get it from you? Where do we get so we can make
Well,
sure you get the money from
You
this
can
thing?
call 810-987-7909.
Now, Brother Hicks was out there, and he didn't have the time to pick his pencil up because this is the number to buy these books for your child. And listen, if you don't have a child, everybody has children. We got 48,000 children in the public school system in the city of Detroit, so we all have children. So we all want to make sure we don't have it for our kids, for somebody else's kids. I want everyone to buy a couple of copies of this book, but this is absolutely brilliant. So one more time, now Brother Hicks has his number.
It's 810-987-7909. The website is www.don'tbeadumbasscriminal.com. All one word.
I didn't say it, Mama.
I know. And
I like
also,
it.
you
I
can go
love
to
the title.
Amazon or CreateSpace, type it in. Contact me, please.
One more time with the
I
number.
teach it. We do programs. We'll go to schools.
okay.
I'm trying to get it into the schools because
One
I
more-
found out they
so-
don't teach anybody about their rights anymore.
And what's the number? What's the number so people can call you?
Okay, the direct number is 810-987-7909. If you have the app, you push call now, it will ring directly to us. So there's no excuse. I've given you every way to get to us. Our email is
Sister Crystal Banks.
don'tbeadumbasscriminal.com.
And we're going to have somebody. Thank you so much for coming on,
Absolutely.
Sister Banks. We want to
And she will
Thank
be
you.
working with some of the
This
luck
is awesome.
clients that are
You're all
returning.
right.
Absolutely.
This
year.
is so cool.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
everybody, y'all need to download this app.
Got to do it.
I mean, she got a bail cam.
Appreciate you, Crystal.
Okay, she has bail cam.
And coming up next, Can we keep the books up here so we can keep them on?
You know what? You sure
Okay,
can.
we want to hold them up.
Oh boy.
Thank you, Sister Crystal. And coming up next, we have a special guest here. I thought that was simply brilliant. And we want to remind folks.
I thought it was killing me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We want to remind folks, as Mario has his throat's killing him, Reform Memoir of a
absolutely.
Juvenile Killer.
I'm going to have both guys come on.
Okay. And so, Brother Pastor Parker, if you can come up here, from the Kojic Social Services Ministry.
Okay.
Okay.
This is sweet.
Okay, awesome.
That's sweet.
We're short on time, but we got to go. Now, this is something that's very near and dear to me. Actually, I had the pleasure to meet with Miss Donna Rogers, and then I met Pam Parker. Then I was able to connect with Bishop Brooks, who had the vision. He said, you know what? The Jewish community has Jewish social services, but then the Church of God in Christ has Kojic social services now. So now you all do a ton of things, and it has to be an organization that helps to pull all these things together, that makes sure that at the end of the day, if there's one central place that knows and can refer different things to different organizations, they can come to Kojic Social Services. So Pastor Parker, tell a little bit about Kojic Social Services and what they're all about.
The best way I would refer to it as, we are community informational assistance. That's what we provide.
Okay.
And of course, being a pastor, I have to throw a scripture in there. In the book of Hosea 4:6, the Bible says that my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And what happens in many cases, we have people that are in situations, and in many cases they're told by those that don't know facts that you're stuck and there's nothing you can do to get out of it. And what we try to do and what we're doing, we bring those people in that can give the valuable information and content that they need. There's a couple of information I can just give you a couple off the top of my head. One of the things that I thank God for was Judge Deborah Thomas came to
Yeah,
our
they do the
East Side-
expungement fair.
our East Side location 5 times. And it was
Deborah
very-
Thomas is always on the
Yes,
scene.
she is. But what blew me away about that is when the information got out that she was coming, that people were coming not just from the East Side. I'm an East Sider, and they were coming not just from the East Side of the city of Detroit, but they were coming around from even in Grosse Pointe and Southfield. They were coming because the word spread, and she was so nice about it, because what she would do, if there was a personal situation and you wanted to get the information that you needed, she would have the people there on staff at the location to pull you to the side and give you all of the information, printed information, as well as website, phone numbers that you needed to get you out of that situation.
I'll tell you,
So that's what we do.
I'm so proud of Kojic Social Services because we need connectors. We need
Absolutely.
organizations that can help to lead us to other organizations of who's getting the work done, because so many times we go to individuals and we just don't know where to go. And the reach of Church of God, the Church of God in Christ, 6.5 million members nationally.
Absolutely.
Now they have Church of God in Christ Social Services. They're using that network to help organize all of the most tangible things that are individuals who are coming, whether it be their members or individuals who are not their members, because they service individuals who are not just Church of God in Christ members. They service the entire community. So I'm proud of Church of God in Christ. Now, Pastor, do you want to speak a little bit on what Church of God in Christ Social Services is doing in the community from your perspective?
It is done in the community, is helping the seniors. It is helping the seniors, and not only the seniors, but anyone is in need of housing. The seniors need a repair on their houses, financial system where they can go and get help with their financial problems. And not only that, the help with partner with medical facilities where they need medical care, they can go and get that. It's all that we need, and even with the expungement program, we walk them through step by step from the beginning to the end, to where they need to go to get assistance and what is on their record off. It's well worth the time and it's when they come to an expungement, it's anywhere from 5 to 6 hours.
Oh, wow.
These
wow.
7 hours.
Wow.
Well, again, I want to thank you all. How do people get in touch with Church of God in Christ Social Service Ministry? What number do they call in order to make sure? Because I want to shout out to Sister Pam doing great work, and Donna Rogers doing great work, and that's one of my mentors, Bishop Brooks, now, who's awesome. His vision is who's, as far as I'm concerned, one of the strongest visionaries I've ever met personally.
I agree.
Period.
I agree.
So I just wanted to, how do people get in touch with you all? Because if people can call you all, you all have a network that is extended beyond just any network that I've ever seen. So, and all these organizations that we've had up here, somebody just bumps into you all, and then you can connect them with those individuals like Judge Deborah Thomas. What number do they call?
Okay, the phone number is 313-398-2298. Again, that's 313-398-2298. And the website is COGIC, COGIC, SSM, Social Service Ministry, at gmail.com. Again, that's COGIC, COGIC, SSM, at gmail.com.
Well, I got to tell you what, I'm so proud of COGIC Social Services Ministry. Can we get can we get all the guests to come up here real quick at the end as we close out the show? Because I just want to just see that we have, this is a family affair, y'all. This is a family affair. And as we close out this show, we just want y'all to just say that be prayerful of all these individuals up here doing all this good work. COGIC Social Services, Safe and Just Michigan, Detroit School for Digital Technology, Luck Inc., Crystal Banks, Pastor Parker, and everybody else. Oh, my goodness. And then don't forget Fifth Third Bank, the work that you all are doing to help pulling all these people together and sponsoring this initiative. It's just been awesome. This is a movement, y'all, but it's not a movement that you can get to just being angry alone. Anger is not a solution. These folks are the solution. Next time on Main Street. Peace.